Luke, Swap Trooper's Wind is a horse that you managed to win on last time. He'll go to the well again on Tuesday night at Happy Valley. He comes into the race in super form.
Yes, Nick, he was a nice win last time, and hopefully he can bring that form this week, and he'll be hard to beat.
He looked rather authoritarian last time out. He was quite dominant in the end, wasn't he?
He was. It took him a little bit to wind up, but then once he got there, he went through the line quite easily. He's won out to 2,000 metres, so which would tell you that he's going to be strong at the end of the mile.
And is that something that you as a jockey can sort of have in the back of your mind, knowing that you can be positive on him and know that he'll see out that trip?
Yeah, it is. It definitely helps. It's very hard if you make a run on your horse and they're stopping at the finish. So I know he's not going to do that. He's going to be strong right through the line, and it gives you a little bit more room to move when you want to.
The assessors had his say, of course, up 5 points, £4 more to carry. Looks a winnable race, doesn't it? With all due respect to his rivals, it certainly looks winnable.
Yeah, it doesn't look much harder than last time, but he does have to carry that bit of extra weight. He's a strong enough horse, which I think that it shouldn't bother him too much. But he was afforded a lovely run from gate 1 last time. There looks to be a little bit more pressure this time, so he'll need the right run to win, but he should be in the finish.
David Hall's horses are in pretty good form. Those avid trial watchers would have noticed a pretty eye-catching trial up at Chungfar. Have the reports been pleasing from the stable that you've heard?
Yeah, I haven't spoken in depth to David yet, but I think he's ticking over nicely. I don't think he's gone backwards since his last run.
Zach, YOUTHFUL Deal is a horse I want to speak to you about. He's looked eye-catching in his recent trial at Happy Valley.
Yeah, his trial was good. He hadn't shown too much in Chungfar. He come down and obviously enjoyed being at the city circuit. He got around there quite nicely, but he's drawn an awkward gate here, and he was meant to run a week or so ago, and he had a fever between his trial and the intended run, so he obviously had to take it a little bit easy, and Frankie had to find another race for him. So this is where he slots in. So whether fitness-wise he sort of just dropped off a bit from that trial, I'm not sure, but it's a tough task for him from that gate. First time around there at the Valley under lights, so and he's missed the work, so he's going to need to be sharp and be on his game. But he feels like he's a nice enough horse, and hopefully he can overcome those difficulties.
Yeah, I guess the track craft he did show at Happy Valley. I mean, it was quite noticeable that he seemed to muster quickly and travel nicely throughout around those towns.
Yeah, which is unlike what he'd been doing in Chungfar. He hadn't been showing much speed at all, and he'd actually been dropping out in his trials. So it was good to see him show a little bit of speed and then show a nice turn of foot as well. But he's big, he's raw, he's far from being the finished product, and it's never easy at the Valley, especially at the first start.
You would have done your due diligence, I'm sure. Obviously, you won a couple of trials for Peter Roble in Australia. Has Frankie always had an opinion of this fella?
That I'm not sure of. He just put me down on the horse to trial him, and then I got the feeling then, and obviously liked what I felt. So hopefully, he can win a race or two for us before the end of the season. That'd be perfect, but might be asking for a little bit much.
Talking about the end of the season, of course, obviously you were making hay while the sun was definitely shining on the weekend just gone. That was 3 that you boosted in. A 2-winner lead now in the Jockeys Championship. This is something I feel we're going to play out throughout the course of the rest of the season, but that was obviously good to establish that bit of a lead now.
Yeah, it's certainly much nicer being in front than behind, of course. The club haven't made it easy for me with all the barriers they've given me tomorrow night, so they're certainly trying to slow things up and keep it as competitive as they are. But I've got a little bit of momentum now, and I probably need another 10 winners, I would say, between now and the end of the season. I think I've probably got 6, so I need to find 4 somewhere.
Yeah, indeed. I think I saw a projection somewhere on social media. I'm not sure if you saw it as well, but I think they predicted you to take the championship, I think, with sort of 6 winners to spare. So I guess if that does play out, then you're in a pole position.
Oh, I hope they're right. Do their predictions take into account the barriers that we get thrown up? I don't think so. So yeah, that's all hypothetical, really. They don't know what rides I've got coming up. I don't know what rides Joe has got coming up either. And track bias, barriers, tempo, all those things play their part. So people can throw a dart at whatever board they want, but it's just a guess at the end of the day.
Luke, Kung Fu Tea is one of your rides on Tuesday night. He's a horse who's held his form quite well throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, he has. He went down into Class 5 and he seemed to have found his form now, and he's climbed up through the ratings quite nicely, and like he said, he's held his form well.
Just on his last run, obviously only just touched off. He certainly likes to get in a bit of a scrap, this horse, doesn't he? And he doesn't back down.
Yeah, he does. Look, he's showing a lot of guts his last couple of runs, and he's continued to produce good runs. And I think if he can just do that again, he can produce another solid run.
Quite noticeable that in his last few starts he has been ridden that bit close to the pace. Is that something that going into a Happy Valley race is quite sort of keen for you to do on him, given that obviously the nature of the track?
Yeah, look, he has shown that he is versatile. Last time I think we opted just to go forward just because of the lack of speed in the race and the deep draw. But he proved that he can go forward and still run a good race. Obviously that does help at Happy Valley. Prefer to be on speed than further back. So yeah, we'll just see how the race pans out. Hopefully put him in a good spot and then do the rest.
You mentioned obviously he was a winner in Class 5 not all that long ago. He continues to rise through the ratings. £5 more to carry. Do you feel he's the type of horse that can carry that forward, given he has got a bit more weight now?
Look, every time he stepped up, he's kept on producing. Since his 2 wins, I don't know if he's run out of the money. So I think as long as he produces another honest run, he'll be right there.
And Happy Valley's been a bit of a happy hunting ground for you of late. The last couple of meetings you've had winners, so I guess it'd be nice to try and make it a third. It
would. He's got a bit of a sticky draw of 7 to contend with, but you see what the speed's like and try to put him in the right spot.
And away from Happy Valley, obviously your form continues well. The Golden Scenery was a nice winner on the weekend just gone. He's a fairly handy horse, that fellow, isn't he?
He is. He's a bit of a tricky horse. Once you sort of work him out, he starts to produce the results as you saw. But like you said, he's a very nice horse. It was a pretty strong field, and he won smartly. So going forward, hopefully that he can build on that.
I guess you'd be hard pushed to find a better seal of approval from a certain Mr. Tony Cruz. He was very complimentary after the race.
Yeah, look, it's been great riding for Mr. Cruz. He's been a huge help to me, huge asset. He's been very instrumental in my riding career so far in Hong Kong, and hopefully that continues.
Lyle Nimbus is a horse that you're going to get back on Tuesday night, and your memories of him from your one and only rider are pretty fond ones.
Yeah, he obviously won really well that night. It wasn't the sticky going, but despite getting a hike in the ratings and going up, it was good to see him repeat a good performance, and I'm glad I could get the ride back in this field. Yeah,
Derek Lung keeping the saddle warm for you. He's drawn gate number 1 for a horse who we know can lead. Not a necessity, but I mean that's the perfect place to be, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bonus for him because we can come out with a positive mindset. And as you saw when he won with me, we took a trail, but he's also competed well from the front, from one off. So very versatile tactically. And it's definitely a benefit to him having the inside gate.
And talking of his versatility, I mean, I don't think we're going to get much rain, but obviously when you won on him, it was yielding, and he's obviously run well on good to firm. So I guess you've got that in your armoury as well.
That definitely helps to see him repeat a good performance on both surfaces. It's a surface of both conditions. That's a really positive going into any race. And like I said, he's got a lot in his favour this time round again.
He looks at a leading chance. Obviously, I delved into the recent Happy Valley meetings for you. I think you've ridden winners at the last 6 of them, so it's becoming a pretty happy hunting ground, the Valley.
I think I'm getting on the right horses at the right time, and thank goodness that they are winning. So as long as you can keep that trend going and continue with the winners, I'll be very happy.
Do you enjoy the challenge of riding around there? I mean, given the sort of idiosyncrasies of the track, I mean, I'm not sure if South Africa can replicate a track like Happy Valley, but it's a unique place, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. Not many places around the world can replicate Happy Valley. So when you start to understand it and get the niche of getting around there, it's definitely an added bonus when you can pull off some victories despite draws and conditions. So it is an added bonus, as you say.
Zach, Gorgeous Vitality has looked mightily impressive in his last couple. The assessor hasn't missed him. He's put him up, and he's up in grade on Tuesday.
Yeah, he's done a few things for me. He's won a couple of races nicely, and he got my nose re-straightened. So you know, he probably owes me another win, and hopefully he can do it again.
Yeah, actually it passed me by. I forgot all about that incident, of course. Just on that win last time, obviously very impressive. I mean, he won with quite a bit in hand. Do you feel there's still more to come?
It was a little bit of a softy track last time, and I think he did appreciate that. But he is a horse that is starting to put it together now, and he'd been a little bit grubby out of the gates early on in his career, and his last couple of starts he's flown and put himself in the right spot. So he's learning, he's getting it right. He's obviously full of confidence now. I rate him in a piece of work. He's going through his paces nicely, and you know, he's going to need to be, because he's come up against a lot stronger field this time, and there's a lot more speed in it. So it's a tough ask for him, and the draw's a little bit tricky, so he's going to need things to go his way, but he's certainly racing well.
Just from a mapping angle, obviously you say, you know, you gave him a bit of a dig forward last time he went forward. You've got a horse like Wine in this race, so it's not going to be easy to lead. Are you happy to take a lead on him, perhaps?
Well, he's shown his versatility, I think, in his last couple of starts. He was obviously in front, led last time, start before that, sat behind the pace. So I don't think I need to go out there with a set game plan. It's obviously at the value of 1,000. You just want to get them out as good as you can, and then read the race as it unfolds. And Frankie quite often has his own game plan as well. So until I speak to him, I'm not sure what he's going to want me to do, but I think it will all revolve around how he begins and the other horses.
Talking of Frankie, just finally, 27.5%. So I worked out the strike rate for you and he, so it might be nice if you can both win championships, but good to be riding his horses that are in form.
Yeah, it is. I might have to mention that to him to try and get a few more rides.